Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today.
Now carried it in back into goal.
That was a beautiful passing play right there, Sean.
What a save! Woo! Talk about a move.
Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock. With me today is a very special guest. I've got Justin Foss with me today, and he is going to tell us a little bit about Minnesota Inline. When we were at the Minnesota Let's Play Hockey Expo in Minnesota a few weeks ago, or about a month and a half ago, we didn't really hear too much about the inline scene. And when I reached out to Justice here, Justice told me exactly kind of why that happened. So we're going to let Justice fill us in. Justice, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So tell us a little bit about Minnesota Inline, what the state of Minnesota Inline is like, because Minnesota is the state of hockey. And when we were there, 23,000 fans for high school hockey, and that seems to be the norm.
Oh, yeah. High school hockey tournament is essentially what the equivalent of football would be in Texas up here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you sell out the X, everyone goes. It's a big event, and it's a nonstop week-long type tournament.
Yeah, it was really cool. We got there Thursday. The expo was Friday and Saturday. When we got there, the quarterfinals were playing on that. So I was like flipping the hotel TV and was like, dude, this is awesome. Checking out these teams, and then seeing those same kids that were playing were at the expo, because I didn't know that's where the state finals was being held at, that week-long tournament was at. So that was pretty cool. So I got to see the I think it's the Edina's goalie that's like 6 foot.
Oh yeah.
He's like, it's actually 6'7" or 6'8" or something like that. But I just remember just looking up, going, "Geez, you're a tall drink of water there, bud."
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a D1 recruit. Yeah.
And but it just wasn't enough to get the W though in the state finals there, and I was kind of pulling for him.
Yeah. I watched those two teams play in their section final game, and it was 1-0.
Yeah.
So you knew it was going to be another good one, but. Yeah, they were a little bit overmatched with Minnetonka.
Right. Yeah, Minnetonka just had nothing but they had it seemed like their whole team was making it to D1.
Yeah. It's nonstop. Any of those first two lines. Some kids don't even make it to that high school tournament because they're already off playing somewhere else.
Right. Wow. Well, yeah. So let's tell us a little bit about Minnesota Inline here, man.
Yeah, so it's in a little bit of a transition. So this is my first year taking it over. It's Greg Mergens had been running it since the early 2000s, and from what I understand, took it over from a league that was kind of one of those leagues where it was just a bunch of fights and a lot of guys who just kind of want to be brutes. And so he took a section of them that just wanted to play the sport and grow it, and then it turned into what it is now. And then this is my first year taking it over. So Greg didn't have anything with social media, and the website was a little defunct, so there wasn't a whole lot of outreach. And really, how people found the league was they either knew someone or randomly stumbled upon it. So the way I found it, I'm originally from Fargo, North Dakota. And when I moved here in 2017, I had already been reaching out because I was running roller hockey in Fargo, so I already knew about it, and then that's how I joined up. And then through those years, got to know Greg, became kind of a circle of trust, and then eventually he offered to have me take it over.
Oh, nice. So now, so is Inline pretty big in North Dakota as well, or not so much?
No, very, very small. So in North Dakota, I was running a nonprofit sports organization.
Okay.
For some other sports, softball, broomball, we had curling, we had some random sports, and then I was trying to kickstart the inline hockey there, which was very, very small. It ended up being like a 25-person pickup type thing by the time I had left.
Yeah, which that's actually not too bad considering that you start out with just like 10 of your best friends, and then you just kind of let it grow from there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not too bad. So now, what brought you to Minnesota?
So I had graduated with my master's. I took a 1-year job down at an ALC school as a school counselor, and then met what's now my wife, and met one of my best friends who helped me change career paths, and so found myself staying here compared to the plans I had to go off and go to get my doctorate in psychology.
Oh, nice. So that's what your general day job is working with with children and stuff?
It was. It was. Now I'm a loan officer, so mortgage, so it helps
Even
because
better.
then I set my own schedule. I can do all sorts of stuff. So the fact that I do that helps me run this roller hockey league.
Cool. So now, so let's get back to Minnesota here. You have how many teams? How many players? What's the size of the community there?
Yeah, so we were in the transition. So long story short, the old way it was done, it was run with 3 9-week seasons.
Okay.
And they just fell on top of one another.
Mm-hmm.
And each division, so we have what's called a premier, a gold, and a silver. Premier being the top, so that has like current and former NHL guys, current and former D1 guys, D2, that kind of thing. Really high end players. And then the gold division is kind of like, think of it as a small step down from that, but not too far off. And then our silver league is our mixed league. It's got guys who played high school, some college, some guys who never played organized and just wanted to play roller hockey. Example is one of the teams I play on, our captain's like 62 years old. So,
which is great to see. You love to see the longevity. I know when I was coaching in Africa, I had like all the way from 4 years old. I think I had a couple twins that were 4, and then like the oldest one I had was probably pushing 62, 63.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see.
Well, that's what's the great thing about the sport is you're able to still play at that age because you're just rolling on wheels. It's not as hard on your body as other sports might be.
Yep. I know, that was one of the things that Francis had talked about because he's like, with ice hockey, your shelf life is so long, but with competitive inline hockey, you can take it as far as you want to. Like that. He's going over to Italy here during Memorial Day for the Masters tournament for Team USA. He's got picked up by that. And then they even have like the veterans, which is even older. I think that's a 45 and up division. So it's really cool to be able to see that. And then not only that, but then you have like the guys that were playing Narch Pro are now starting to play in like the 30 and over, at Narch, and then 35 and over, and then 40 and over. So like all of those studs that you see, I remember, Junior Quedez, he still plays overseas, and he's still, dominating, the Narch scene over here. So it's really cool to see that. And then you actually have a buddy of yours that you're real good friends with, John, right?
Yep. John Chavo is in our area. He's helping me grow. He and his Buddy Dustin are kind of growing the youth side, and then I'm taking over the adult side of things. And then John, with his connections with different companies, helps us get kind of like discounts on equipment and whatnot. So it's kind of trying to help bolster and bring some perks to the league as well.
That's awesome. So now, and then I'm going to reach out to John too. I want to get him on the pod to talk about that youth side. I've already got a couple lined up for one out of Cincinnati, and then I'll do another one out of Detroit and Pittsburgh as well. Because GCH is based out of Pittsburgh, and they have a couple. They do some youth stuff too, so that'd be really cool to get John on and talking about the youth and how we can help grow that aspect of the game, because the youth is really where it's at. If we can't continue to help grow that youth program or the youth programs in our areas, there's not going to be much inline hockey in the future.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, it all definitely starts there.
Yep, and it'll just be stuck out in California or stuck out in New York somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but how many registered players do you guys have? Do you know?
So right now we have 19 teams. So kind of going back to when you asked before, so the different structures, we were able to kind of keep all of the teams that we had. Except for one, and they just couldn't seem to find the numbers. But so we kept 19 out of 20 with the transition, which was great, because from those 3 9-week seasons, I changed it to one 20-week long, 20-game season, and then a small fall league. So we kind of changed the structure up. Registered number of players, I mean, I could look it up quick, but it's probably, actually, I can look it up quick. We have, right now I have 202 players registered.
That's amazing. Considering that, like I said earlier, when we were at the Let's Play Hockey Expo, not many people really talking about the inline scene. How far are you guys from the XL Energy Center?
Our rink, we play at 2 different rinks. One rink is kind of like what we do in the spring and the fall, and the other one is when it gets really hot in the summer. So we actually are transitioning to that rink. So you probably can't. So I got a bunch of stuff here from the transition, because we're transitioning from the one rink to the other this week. So starting tomorrow, they're probably 12 minutes. 15 minutes from the rink. Yeah, just really close.
Yeah, so I feel like that I should have been able to pick up on that. I didn't even I should have probably looked a little sooner, but I found you pretty quick when I did my inline hockey in Minnesota, and your Facebook page came up, and I was just like, I'm gonna shoot him a message. And that's kind of how we ended up here. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
And all of that social media stuff, that's all recent. So we've already had 7 players that didn't know roller hockey was even in this area register and find themselves on teams. I just actually was messaging with another one last night, just from strictly getting on social media, because we had nothing before this season.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now, what are you guys doing to help grow your seasons or to grow your leagues? Let me just put it that way.
Yeah. So this year, the goal. So I knew I was going to be taking it over. Probably it was about November of 2022. So come January 1st of 23, I got it registered as a business. Took it all down that path. And so this year, with all the changes I was doing, new website, some rule tweaks and different things, the idea was retention. Get as many players to come back as possible. And we were able to achieve that. So the idea is to build on that going forward for next year. And we're doing different strategies with marketing and whatnot to try and do that. But retention this year, next year it's about growth. So I've already, each player that registered, you can see each one getting a T-shirt so that they can wear. And it's a nice T-shirt. It's not just some crummy one. So that way they want to wear it. People ask. And there's some other little marketing things we're doing to try and get some free advertising out of the league. So that way players that play hockey can even just simply learn about it. But there is, this being the state of hockey, there is a little bit of a stigma of roller hockey compared to ice hockey. So it's a matter of trying to get them over. And then once we do, they love it more than ice hockey.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of players they tend to have that old, like you said, stigma of, oh, it's going to mess up my stride, or it's going to mess up, this or that, and it helps. It's a different form of hockey. It's no different than if you're playing, floor hockey or ball hockey, or even deck hockey, broom ball, same thing. Everything is going to help with that muscle memory, because you're using your stick handling skills, you're using your puck possession skills. I always say inline hockey is a possession game. Ice hockey is more the dump and chase style that you see. But then when you got floor hockey, broom ball, all of those, it's all possession based. So it really helps improve your game, from my opinion. And as you said, though, once they actually give it a shot and give it a chance, it's worth it.
Oh, and they get sucked in, right? I mean, what's not to love about 4-on-4, no ice, no offsides if you're any type of player. Now I'm sitting in a net, so it's different for me, but when you're skating out, I mean, what's in a lighter puck? I mean, something you can rip. I mean, it's very enticing.
Yeah. So so what else? So what are some of the things that you guys have come across that you guys have been struggling with?
I would say we're very separated from playing on any tile. So we play on concrete floor. So I've never even played on a tile, so I don't even know what that's like. So that's one separator, and then we're a little bit far out from any of the tournaments. So most of the people in the league, there's only a handful that are the older players that have even gone to a tournament and played in a tournament. So that's kind of a struggle, because then we're all very insular and we don't know anything that's outside of our little world here. Yeah.
So now, I don't know if you are aware of this, but the first State Wars tournament took place at the XL Energy Center.
No, didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
fun.
that was back in, I think, 2001.
Oh, wow.
2001, 2002, maybe? It's very early. It was right. When did Minnesota actually come into the league?
Oh, it's got to be right around then, because was built for it.
Yeah, exactly. So that was when. It was like that same year that they joined the league, or it was the year after that is when State Wars finally made it out there. But yeah. So now, how are the refs? Situation there? Does it seem pretty good? Because a lot of we have a couple of rinks over here that closed in the last couple of years. I think Carl in one of our previous episodes said there was like 58 or 56 rinks that had closed in the state of Michigan. Yeah.
No kidding. That's outrageous. Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We're definitely not having rink closings here. They're usually booked up. I mean, I personally know groups where I could switch into ice, but I could be playing ice every single day, even in the summer. So refs, we're very blessed. We have a core group of refs, and they're very well connected with other refs. So we actually had two new refs within it this year. But we kind of have one main ref that helps solidify the schedule, and then they just fill in as needed. So we've really never had a ref issue, which has been an absolute blessing when you're running a league.
That's amazing, considering that a lot of times the refs they take a lot of abuse. I haven't had a chance to play in Minnesota. I've played just about everywhere else but Minnesota. But that's just it comes with the territories. I know it's one of the things that I'll be having an episode coming up here pretty soon, where I get a hold of my old reffing crew that I reffed with, and we're just going to kind of do like a roundtable discussion and just tell ref stories and stuff like that. So I try to support our refs as much as possible. We have a no fighting rule, and if the fighting does occur, our refs are instructed not to go in. They're instructed to be more like soccer officials, where they just watch, let it go. Okay.
And then they report into what happened. And then I try to compensate them well comparatively, so that way they feel like they're getting valued. And then I let them speak their mind, because they know that in the end, we'll support them on the league side of things.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Man, there was something else. I just had it and then it lost
Oh, I'm
it.
sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're good. It was me. Yeah, this was going really well too. I think I don't have too much more. So let's go back. So now, have you heard about what happened or what's going on in New Jersey with the refs over there, or with it's more for baseball umpiring? This youth baseball league decided to implement this rule to kind of curb on like abusive officials, and that's something that I think that could work in just about any facet of the game. You know, no matter what sport it is that if you have a parent that gets kicked out of a game, they cannot come back until they refed or umpired like 3 games.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, like you're banned until you like. It doesn't even matter if it's if your son is playing or your daughter's playing. You get kicked out for abusive officials. You can't come back at all until you ref your ref. You do your penalties. You serve the penalty.
That's brilliant.
Which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's something that all leagues should try to help, especially like the one rink that I was at, and then a buddy of mine, he'll post, because he still refs to this day, and he'll post like conversations that he's had with like the kids, and it's like, you suck and all this, and that's a terrible call, and it was like, yeah, but you did what you did the penalties, so like I called my job, I'm doing my job. So for me, I like to see that, because that actually says that the league is really trying to crack down on all of that type of behavior. Because again, a lot of us are there just to make sure that you guys can play. It's not so that we can play or to call and make your night terrible. You're the one that made the terrible decision to do what you did. We're just enforcing the rules,
Yep.
So
Yeah. No, luckily we don't have a whole lot of that in our league. For the most part, it's pretty good, and if there is stuff, it gets squabbled pretty quickly.
Well, and I feel like that's probably because you're such a tight knit community. You got a couple hundred players. Everybody knows everybody, and then those that you don't know tend to get put in their place pretty quickly within the first couple weeks.
Yeah, and it also helps that I play goalie, and I play in all 3 levels. So, and I played on every single team from subbing, because we all know goalies are hard to come by. So last summer I ended up playing like 135 games, which was insane. Yeah.
So you just want to rephrase or repeat what you just said? Yeah.
So the nice thing with our league is it really helps the fact that with me running it, that I played on pretty much every single team, because I play goalie, and I play in all 3 divisions, and I played on every single team, so I've gotten to know all the teams. So there's kind of like a connectedness there, and then they all know obviously I'm running it, and then I'm very clear with communications on respecting officials and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, last summer I ended up playing like 135 games, which is way more than needed, because we know goalies are always in major need for roller hockey.
And you only lost 4 games? Is that
yeah, that's right. Yes.
Before, yeah.
Yeah. Let the statistics show that. Yeah. Blame the defense.
There you go. But yeah, no. So that's cool. So now, if you are looking to get into the inline scene in Minnesota, where should I go? What should I do?
Easiest way is you find us on the socials at Minnesota Inline Hockey. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, and I put videos and stuff on TikTok too, and YouTube.
Okay.
Right now, we're building up the social scene there.
What are those handles? And then we'll get those out there as well.
Yeah, just at Minnesota Inline Hockey for all.
Minnesota Inline Hockey. Okay.
Yep. Cool. Yep. So you try to keep them all consistent, and we're really working on getting graphics up. I'm working on getting photos as we go. I've already put up a bunch of clips from videos, so we'll work on streaming and video content as we go. But at the moment, I'm kind of a one-man band, so hard to do it all at once. So
right. I'll just take it one day at a time, and in each and each day is going to be better than it was yesterday because now you're getting the word out more. And we're going to do the same. We're going to help try to help get some more exposure for you. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the company that I work for, GCH, we actually we actually broadcast live inline games throughout the Midwest, from Buffalo all the way to Illinois, with teams coming from Canada and Iowa as well. With they play out of Salt Creek in Chicago, and then all the way to the Buffalo one that they just had it to, I think it's like North Point or something like that. But yeah, so and then all the way down.
There's a new league in Madison forming, whether you knew that or not, too.
No, I did not. In Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, so we've been in conjunction with them because they're new and we're kind of new just with the way we're rebranding and starting over. So they have like 5 or 6 tournaments set up, 3 competitive, 3 recreational, and then we're trying to do 2 tournaments ourselves just to try and get that scene going, because talking about the being far away from kind of the main scene, trying to almost set up our own regional kind of thing.
Oh, that'd be really cool. And then and we'll you'll give me their information. I'll reach out to them and we'll get them on the pod too. It'd be nice to get that exposure because our mission is to help grow the game. And if we're not doing our part by getting you guys on to talk about your leagues, to tell us about your experiences, then we're not doing our part to help grow this game. And we all love this game, so much. So that's our mission. But yeah, like I said, we do live broadcast. We got our championships coming up in May in Fraser at the Big Boy Hockey Arena. So we're going to be at the big arena, 2 floors. So a T2 team, which is like where you got guys coming back from European pro leagues and stuff like that. They're coming back to start playing in that. You got Team USA members. All that stuff. So that would be a perfect fit for John to come play in. Yeah. And then CJ Grow, I don't know if you know him from Cincinnati, him and his crew, and then the guys from Canada too. I mean, those guys are just studs no matter where they go. And quite a few teams from Chicago. So it's pretty cool. I mean, like you had. I want to say there's about 60 or almost 70 teams that play in the MyHa League at the Midwest Inline Hockey Association. I know that's a bit of a drive for you guys from Minnesota to Chicago, but you never say never. There's always that point where we might start seeing that grow. But I was they've done tournaments in Minnesota. In Missouri, just outside of St. Louis. So, they grew and then kind of had to step back a little bit, but you just never know.
Right. Yeah, and it's just the start for us really up here. So we're hoping this will be a good growth going forward in the next couple of years here.
Well, we hope to continue to launch into to get that exposure out there, and and we'll definitely be back in touch next season too, or next year, to get you back on and see how things are progressing. Yeah,
that'd be great. I'd love it.
Yeah. Well, any last words before we sign off?
Yeah, other than leagues that are watching this, if you know players that are moving to Minnesota, just have them contact us. And MinnesotaInlineHockey.com is our website, and we'll get them signed up for a team or some free agency stuff. We're trying to grow it, so anything that anyone knows with that would be helpful.
All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure talking with you. Justice Foss from Minnesota Inline Hockey. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock. We will see you soon. And next time I am in the area, I will be stopping by the rink. I wish I would have been able to have to get over there last time I was there. So
maybe next year.
It'll be a lot of fun. For sure. I hope they send me back. I really do. But with the baby coming in August, I don't know if that's going to be a
Okay.
possibility.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll just bring her with me and we'll see what happens.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, then you'll just never leave.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Justice, I appreciate you taking the time. And we will see you on the flip side.
Yeah, thank you. I do have one roller question for you because there's a
Shoot.
big controversy that I did with the league here. I switched
Okay.
pucks, and it's been like for some guys it was like
You
Killed
killed the Pope. Yep.
yeah.
So you went from I assume you went from the IDS puck or the rocket puck to something else.
IDS to the Rocket.
Oh, dude, IDS all the way. But I hear but that's because you're playing on concrete.
We're playing a
That's
concrete.
why.
Yep.
Check out the still mat puck.
We
ST
did. It's yeah. I tried all the pucks.
Okay.
The Rocket puck seemed to work the best.
Then I noticed that because it's a little bit heavier.
Yes. Yep. The IDS.
So
it just seemed like it always was doing this.
bounces. Yep. If once you get a tile floor like that sport court, the IDS, go back to the IDS or the still mat, and
Okay.
you'll never have that happen again.
Is that what most tourneys do?
That's what I've noticed is like they're now switching over to the still mat puck, and that's
Oh,
like
they
very
are?
little, yeah, like it's very
Oh,
little
wow.
bounce.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well,
yeah, because you're right.
Yeah.
It's like I killed the Pope. Yeah.
yeah.